Disclaimer, this video is for mature adults who actually fuck. If you're not someone who has sex or doesn't plan to have sex, or you're easily offended by sexual topics, then go back to watching Jeopardy or World News Tonight with David Muir while us big boys talk about the fun stuff. Now, let's get into it. Oh, baby, today we're talking about my motherfucking specialty, the thing I basically created, the female orgasm. Let's not waste any time. I wouldn't want to tease you with this topic too much. Number 1, the female orgasms. Now, for you noobs out there who didn't know, there are 2 types of orgasms women can experience. Women can experience a clitoral orgasm and vaginal orgasm. The clitoral orgasm is the orgasm that girls experience from stimulating their clitoris, which is located just outside and on top of the vaginal opening. It's the firm circular thing that's located above the opening. Meanwhile, the vaginal orgasm, aka the G-spot orgasm, comes from stimulating the G-spot, which is located on the inside of the vagina. Specifically, on the top part of the vagina, near the front opening. The way you locate it is by inserting your finger into the vagina and pointing upwards until you feel the small spongy and hard thing in the girl. That's known as her G-spot, and it can cause tons of stimulation that lead to an orgasm that's different than a clitoral orgasm. This is also the type of orgasm that makes a girl come and in some cases squirt. I mean, if you're really hitting it like a god. Number 2, the cheater's orgasm. Now, the easiest way to make a girl orgasm is to have her show you herself. And to help you do it, this really only works if you're having sex with a girl, though. If you're just fingering her, then wait for the next step. The easy way out is to have sex with a girl and have her touch herself while you penetrate her pink taco. You can tell her that you want to see how she touches herself and how much it turns you on and get her really into it. This way, you're penetrating and providing G-spot stimulation while she provides clitoral stimulation. And, interestingly enough, providing stimulation to both parts is an easy way to make the other achieve orgasm. Making a girl orgasm by having her touch herself is a super convenient, fast, and reliable way of making the girl reach clitoral orgasm, because it allows her to do it exactly the way she likes, while having the added bonus of you there to turn her on and also penetrate her. This is also good for learning how she likes to be touched, and you can emulate it, so you can learn how to do it to her yourself. Telling her how sexy you find it and how much it turns you on is an easy way to get her really turned on and into the mood, which is essential as fuck if you're trying to make the girl have one of those mind-blowing orgasms. Number 3, time until liftoff. If you didn't know, on average, it takes a girl about 18 minutes to orgasm and sometimes even longer. Guys only last an average of 6 minutes, so based on just the stats alone, if you're an average guy or even slightly above average, you have to last more than 3 times as long just to keep up with the Number 4, preheating the oven. The number 1 way to get a girl turned on like crazy and make her orgasm is to turn her on from the start and get her really, really into it. This will help make it easier to get her to orgasm and will shorten the amount of time it takes to make her orgasm. You can't just kiss her a bit, take her clothes off and slide your ding-a-ling in there and expect her to have an orgasm. You have to create a wholesome experience. Women are most turned on and aroused by the overall experience she gets physically and emotionally from you before, during, and after sex. This is why you'll notice a girl can sometimes get really wet and other times she's only slightly wet. Have you ever been super into it with a girl where you're all over each other, going at it really rough and notice how wet she gets, versus when you're kinda going through the motions and not into it as much? Yeah, exactly. The intensity and overall experience you provide to the girl will determine how turned on she gets. And the more turned on she is, the quicker and easier it'll be for her to orgasm. So make sure all areas of the experience are on point, from your talk, your stroke game, how you treat her in bed, the environment you're in, and everything else in between. Imagine that when you're with a girl that she starts out at 0 out of 10, 10 being her reaching orgasm. You need to turn her on and build up the experience over time, so that by the time you actually start having sex, she's at least at a 7 out of 10 in terms of turned on and ready to bang. This will make your job 10 times easier. Number 5, the motions of the oceans. Now, since there are 2 types of orgasms, you're gonna want to approach them in different ways. If you're trying to go for the clitoral orgasm, you're gonna want to first locate the clit, and then place your finger on the center of it. This is the part where the skin is the hardest and tightest. From there, you want to use a decent amount of pressure and move in circular motions. An absolute essential piece to this is to make sure she's wet when you're doing this. In order to ensure she's wet, you can slip your fingers inside her intermittently and make sure her clit is lubed up. This will increase the level of stimulation for her and make it so that she can achieve orgasm easier. You want to start off slow and tease her a bit in the beginning, and then gradually increase the amount of pressure you apply to her clit and how fast you go in circles. When you see that she's really stimulated and into it, then you can apply harder pressure to it and go in tighter, faster circles to keep the stimulation constant and hard. Do this and get the pressure high enough and she'll orgasm in no time. You should also experiment with different motions and pressures to see what she specifically likes, and based on her response, you should keep doing what she likes. Now, if you want to make her have a G-spot orgasm, the motions and pressure are really similar. For this, you want to make sure she's wet and lubed up, and insert your fingers inside her and upwards until you feel the spongy, hard G-spot that's located toward the front and on top of the inner vagina. You want to rub it in a circular motion while maintaining a strong amount of pressure, and increasing it gradually as she gets more turned on, very similar to the clitoral orgasm. The only addition is that you will occasionally alternate between this motion and inserting your finger inside her and doing the come here motion while deep inside of her. This will stimulate her deep inside, and if you mix this up with a circular high pressure on the G-spot, you'll be swimming in pussy. Literally. Now, if you're doing this during sex, an easy way to get this type of stimulation is to use your penis deep inside of her and stay in there while applying strong and rapid thrusting pressure. And that, my friends, is it. In summary, number 1, know the 2 types of female orgasms. Number 2, use the cheater's orgasm. Number 3, last long enough until it's time for her to lift off into orgasm. Number 4, preheat the oven by turning her on early on. Number 5, the motions of the ocean. If these tips helped you, then be sure to let me know and I'll consider doing more of these sex education videos that are sure to be demonized.